Hello everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to my live. Thank you for joining me. My name is Laura Rodrick. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in San Antonio, Texas. And I try and go live as many Tuesdays as I can at 7 p.m. Central Time. So if you're joining me for the live, thanks for tuning in. If you're watching the replay, I want to say thank you also. I really appreciate it. I have some more fun cards this week. This week we're going to do the Gingerbread Man bundle, which is fun. I love gingerbread. And we're starting to get going on Christmas because it's just around the corner. We've got November 1st. It's going to be Saturday. So here we go. All right. I'm going to turn my camera around and get started. I have a couple things to show you before we stamp. So let me turn my camera and flip things around. All right, and get a little bit closer. All right, and I'm gonna actually move this over a little so we get more of, I don't know, is that straight? Kind of, sort of. I feel like it's crooked, but we're gonna compensate a little bit. Excuse me. Okay, you guys, the first thing I wanna talk about is I am offering a mystery box. Now, this is the first mystery box that I've offered. I think mystery boxes are great fun. And this has the modern Christmas theme to it. So if you guys aren't familiar with the modern Christmas, hold on one second. I need to find myself here on Facebook and make sure everything's okay. There we are. Okay. All right, very good. So the modern Christmas. So it's got a couple parts to it. We have the ornamental Christmas stamp set, which is super fun. And these dies, which are awesome. And then we have the amazing paper, which is a gold and white and black theme. So really fun papers. And, you know, kind of a not a red and green Christmas, right? We're going to make it a little bit fancy, so I think that's going to be fun. Look at these gorgeous, gorgeous patterns. So, I'm not going to show you any of the projects because it's a mystery. All right, but let me tell you a little bit about the class and how you can get the box. So, first of all, it's going to come with half a pack of cardstock and then other products to complete 5 projects. So it's going to be a total of over $32 in Stampin' Up products, plus all of the cardstock and things you need to make the projects, plus some really adorable pillow gifts and some treats. And then, so what you'll also receive is a link to a video, and you guys know how I do my videos every week, so you'll get a link to a private video. I'm not going to do this as a craft along or anything. It's just going to be private to anyone who buys this box. And then I'll also do a project measurement sheet like I do every week, also so you can see the pictures and have the measurements. It is not a full PDF with instructions because the video is the instructions. So things that you're going to need to complete the projects: the bundle, Versamark ink pad, some gold embossing powder, some black ink, scissors, die cutting machine, adhesives, you know, your usual craft supplies that you'll need for this. All right. Registration begins today, and then it ends on November 8th. Or when the kits or Stampin' Up products sell out. So if something that I'm using goes on unavailable, I'll have to close it. All right. But otherwise, until November 8th. I'm going to ship the kits around the week of November 17th. So what's the cost? It's $56 plus $11 for shipping. And that's going to be priority shipping, flat rate. So the total cost is going to be $67. As usual with most of my classes, all you have to do is email me, sunshineandsparklestamping@gmail.com, and just say, hey, I want the kit, and I'll send you an invoice through Square. Easy breezy, okay? So I think this is going to be a really beautiful, beautiful Christmas box with lots of pretty projects. All right? All right. Hi, Lisa. Okay, you guys, last time to mention this because this deal ends on Friday on Halloween. Last chance to get this fabulous deal where you get $90 in free product. I mean, who doesn't want $90 worth of free stuff? I think it's awesome. It's $125 for only $35, plus tax. Shipping is free. Or if you wanted to get something worth a little bit more, it's still $90 off, but it would be $189 for $99. An example of this would be if you want the Stampin' Cut embossing machine. That's $140, so you would want to use this deal, right? So you can take the $140 and get it for $99 plus an additional $49 in products. So both great deals. Think about it. I'll have more information on my email for signing up. And it's a great starter kit. Many people have been taking advantage of this, which was really great, especially before Christmas when we need some crafting supplies and things. All right, I'm still not happy where my placement is for this camera, so let me move things up a little bit and see if we like this better. Because I feel like I'm not up far enough. Hold on. But there's things in the way now, like cabinets. And let me add a little bit of stability right here. Okay. Well, I don't know, you guys. It's crooked. Can we live with it? Let me try this. I'm just going to play with it for another second until I'm happy. All right, I'll try and stay in frame with this, okay? I think that's going to be good. All right, you guys, this Gingerbread Man bundle is so cute. So we're going to do 3 cards and a little treat box. So the first one I have is sugar and spice and everything nice. And this one opens up like this. All right, and we've got a little area that you can write in here. So that's the first card. Then I thought, of course, we have to have a very cute little female gingerbread, right? So we're doing this kind of red and pink one. The next card, obviously they designed the set this way just for this very thing, right? They gave you a little die to cut the leg and some little cookie crumb stamps and the oh snap. So of course we had to do one of these cards. So we've got this one, Season's Eatings. What a cute little thing, right? And then lastly, we needed a little box to put one of our gingerbread men. And this is a little Debbie gingerbread boy or girl. And that's a fun treat. So that would be a fun thing to hand out at Christmas too, right? So we've got our gingerbread on that. All right, so those are our projects for tonight. We're going to start with this guy here, the sugar and spice and everything nice. Excuse me. Hi, Sharon. Okay, so first of all, let me show you the bundle. Okay, here is the stamp set. Gingerbread Man. It's got the nice sentiments. And look at all the different faces. We're going to use all 4 of these faces on gingerbread people tonight. A little extra icing things. Some gumdrops, which I didn't use, but I kind of wish I had. Our little crumbs, buttons. It's all here. Everything that you need, right? Okay, and then this is a really big die set. Look at the size of this die set. So it cuts the card so it scores in the middle and folds. So that's already ready for you to go with the die set. And then all these other fun accessories that we'll use as we go along. So that is the bundle. Okay, in addition, we're just going to use this label from Stylish Shapes to make a little label for our card. And here are the pieces for our first card. Okay, so this is going to be our card base right here. And our card base is real red. It's 5.5 by 4 1/4. It doesn't fold. It's just a single card base that we're going to build onto. Kind of running out of Christmas papers right now. A couple of them are on unavailable right now, but I thought this one was really pretty. And so this is, let me show you up close. This is the Christmas Greetings Mix and Match Specialty Cards and Envelopes. So it comes with 2 different designs, and the cards are gold foiled. So you have this one with the green and white and gold plaid. And you can see it's already scored. You can just fold it in half and use it as a card. And then the other design is what looks to be like crumb cake-ish. Okay, so really pretty festive plaids. And it comes with envelopes too. So those are really beautiful. But I wanted to make mine go a little bit further, so I'm cutting them in half. And I'm only using a half as a layer. Okay, and I'm not including these envelopes in the kit. If you get the kit this week, they'll be white envelopes. Because since I'm cutting these in half, I don't have enough envelopes for all the cards, right? So I thought that was a little bit festive and kind of a nice backdrop for our gingerbread because, I mean, who doesn't love Christmas plaid with gingerbread? All right, now did I put that away? Now I have to find it. I tucked away our layer. Where did you go? Here we are. All right, the other patterns are coming back, so Lisa, I do get from Amazon. Yep. Hi, Renee. Okay, so this, then of course, this is 5 1/4 by 4 that I just cut out of the cards I just showed you, and that's going to be our layer that we're going to build on here. So let's find a little bit of seal. And just place that. Okay. Now, we cut out the label from the Stylish Shapes die, so we're going to stamp on that. Now, the rest of these pieces are all for stamping and die cutting. All right, so I have this bigger piece, and this is Pecan Pie. It's 7 1/2 by 5 1/2, and we're going to use this to stamp and emboss our gingerbread guy. And then we've got some other pieces. Let me show you what we're going to do with these. So these are going to be for die cuts. All right. Let me get out the dies and show you which ones we're going to use. So the hat is really cute. So we're going to do that. So we have this hat right here. And we're going to die cut this. Now this paper right here is flocked. And this paper comes in a 3-pack. It comes with 2 sheets of each. And it's all season velvet specialty paper. And so you have this like real red or cherry cobbler color. I'm not sure. It might be cherry cobbler. I don't know if it says. It just says green, red, and white. So there you go. White. And then we've got some green. Super soft, super beautiful. Die cuts nice. So anyway, we're going to do a hat. And then there's a scarf die too. So we're going to take our scarf die and we're going to cut those out. Then out of this red, we're going to do the candy cane. Now, we want this side of the candy cane that has the cutouts on it, so we can just line that up right like that and run it through. If you use a bigger piece of red, you can cut the whole thing both at once, and then you'll have, you know, both sides. We're actually going to use one later for that. So we've got that. The little coffee cup, little mug, really cute, embosses also this little design into it. So we're going to do that. All right. And then let me show you what we end up with. So we've got this right here. And here is the scarf. Here, also on this white, you're going to do, after you cut this one, you're going to do the backdrop of the candy cane in white. And then you're going to take the hat again and cut just the puffy part, the little top of the hat, okay? So here's our 2 pieces of the candy cane, the white, and we have the red like that. We have our cute little green mug. And then here's the other piece of the hat. We're just going to cut off the pom-pom at the top and layer that. All right. So that's what we've die cut. Let me put these away so they don't get lost. Okay. Now let's do a little bit of stamping and embossing. Let's put these pieces aside right here. This is a giant kind of a giant stamp, right? So I have this huge block. You could also use a Stamparatus or similar type stamping tool. I just used the regular smiley face for this first one. We're going to take some Versamark and ink it up. Hi, Kelly. Kelly, I will be in your state in a few more days. I'm scared of the weather, I'll be honest. Okay, so I want to stamp this all the way to this side because this side is going to be the other side of the folding card and is going to be blank. All right, so let me just kind of line this up here to the edge. All right, we have a nice clear image. We're going to get out some embossing powder, and probably a good thing to do with this, which I didn't do, would be to use your embossing buddy because it's a little bit darker of paper, and we don't want to get little extra little specks. All right. Let's see if I cannot make an enormous mess here. So we're going to end up, so this is the only gingerbread that we're going to do that has, you know, the card, the front and the back of the gingerbread. The other ones we're going to do just like on a 5.5 by 4 1/4 pecan pie. And we're just going to do this part and then just die cut just this part. And we're actually, for all of them, we're using all the faces. So we're going to do one in each face. Now I've already pre-done them, so I only have to show you how to emboss this once. You won't be tortured any further. You probably don't have to do it twice, but okay. Looking pretty good for our gingerbread. Let me put this aside. And get out our heat tool. Takes a minute to warm it up the first time. Are y'all having a good week? I hope everyone's having a good week. I hope you have good weather. We were like 91 today, but then the temperature started to drop. We got a cold front, which is rare. So tomorrow the high is only going to be like 70, 71. And the low tonight's going to be in the 50s, which is crazy. We haven't had temperatures that cold since like last winter. So I don't know. I might have to turn the heat on tonight or something. I'm not really sure. Or in any case, turn the air conditioning off, right? It's going to be in the 50s overnight. So we're getting, I don't know, maybe a little bit of Texas fall weather. But it did feel really nice when I was out tonight. Outside. It was absolutely beautiful when I left work. But it's windy. It's super windy outside right now. All right. I think that looks pretty good. All right, I want to show you a little bit up close. You can see how shiny and pretty that is. Okay, now we're going to get out the big die cut, run it through the machine. So you can see there's enough room on both sides. It leaves kind of a wide outline. You can see some of the pecan pies sticking out around the white. So you're going to take this whole thing and run it through your machine. And then you're going to end up with a piece that looks like this. And like I said, it's already scored from the die. So now we have our cute little guy. And we're just going to fold him right in half. I'm going to line him up before I crease my fold to make sure that he's going to sit right. Okay. Let me get my little bone folder. Hi, Jolene. All right. This side is better so I don't rub off what I just embossed, right? Okay, there we go. Cute. Didn't they do a good job? They really thought of everything. Now that other piece of white, you know, there was a lot of white on that other sheet that I put away. And so like I said before, we were doing a candy cane. We were doing the top of the hat, and then you have room here because on the inside, now you could just leave it white, or you could just leave it pecan pie and just write in it in pecan pie. What I did was I did pecan pie. I just stamped the gingerbread image, the same exact one, onto the card too. All right. And I might throw in another little extra piece of white into the kits this week, so you have more room for the candy cane and the hat. And then you can just use this one just for that. So you could use the die to cut this out if you wanted to, but I'm just going to cut like right in the middle of the pecan pie. And that way it kind of blends in the edge. Now the other thing you can do is you don't have to put a face on it too if you just want the inside, you know, just white for writing your sentiment in there. You don't have to put the face, but this is kind of just the direction I went with it. So I'm just going to cut right in the middle of this, middle-ish, right? I have to stop saying right. Why do I say that so much? We all have our little things that we say. Okay. Very, very cute. Love Gingerbread Man. You know, we do some baking. I think I mentioned before we make gingerbread is one of our cookies every Christmas, and we do gingerbread soft-coated Wheaten Terriers, our little puppy gingerbread, which we love. And I also decorate my kitchen with a gingerbread theme every year. Okay, there is our gingerbread. All right, now we can just start putting everything together. And let's start by just adhering this on the inside of here. All right, and we're just going to adhere this. I didn't pop it up, did I? I don't think so. You know, before I do that, let me just, let me get out our silicone mats just to do the gluing first. So, let me cut off our little top of the hat. And we're going to glue that on. Let's get some glue started here. Glue. I never close my glue. I don't even know where the lid is right now. I just never do because, I don't want to. I just don't have time for that. But look how much time it takes to get it started again. So, I don't know. Maybe I should close it, but I never think of it. All right, there's the hat. Let's put the scarf on. How's everybody's weather where you are? I've seen some pictures recently of Chicago, and they're getting fall, and the leaves on the trees are gorgeous. Late fall this year because they had so much warm weather. But so I kind of missed out, even though I went to Chicago twice in the fall. I kind of missed out on fall. But I am seeing some really beautiful pictures. I'm going to kind of put this on a little bit of an angle. I bet it's beautiful. Is it beautiful where you guys are? All right, there we go. Let's do the candy cane. Time change on Sunday. Who's ready for that? That's the one where we get an extra hour of sleep, right? I'm all for that. Okay. We're going to let this dry for a second. Okay, let's stamp the sugar and spice and everything nice. We're going to do that in Garden Green. Did I pull... I didn't pull any of my stamp pads this week. I got a new Garden Green. The other one, I think I kind of trashed over the years. There we go. There's our sentiment. All right, let's pop that up. You can see sometimes when I die cut, it picks up pieces of magnet on the back. Like I use these huge magnetic cutting plates, and it just picks up a little bit of the magnet on the back, which is fine because it doesn't really affect anything in the front, but it is not dirty cardstock. It's just magnet from die cutting. Okay, now we can kind of tuck a few things in, providing I put my dimensionals in a good place, right? And his little hand can hold the mug. I wonder, yeah, we'll just put it like that. I was thinking about a dimensional, but I don't know if that would work out. Holding the cute little mug. All right, now let's put this down. With a lot of adhesive. I don't know why that's doing that. All right, there he is. And he opens up like that, really cute, right? Okay, now I thought for embellishments, I got out these. And these are kind of nice for Christmas. These are delightful decorative dots, and I thought the red were kind of nice and not too sparkly or fussy, because, you know, he's a boy gingerbread man. Oh, some people are getting some rain. Okay. Oh, I need a new thingy on here. Do I have one handy? Maybe. Okay, so we're just going to put some of these dots on. Another big one down here. Let's be picky, right? There we go. Okay, that is the first card. That little guy was easy to make. Okay, next, let us do time to make the cute little girl. Sugar and spice and everything nice. All right, here's the pieces for this one. I'm also adding perennial postage dies. I'm using, I think, the big one I used for this. Okay. Now, if you'll notice too, I put some hearts on her dress in the front. And I was like, okay, where am I going to get hearts? We all have heart dies somewhere. I actually pulled these hearts from the all zipped up dies. I don't know if you guys have these. If you get the kit this week, obviously I'll die cut those for you and put them in your kit for you. There's two different size hearts that kind of are concentric, so that works, and that's where I pulled those from. There's other things that we have hearts on. I think one of our punches has a heart on it right now. Maybe that was the Bee Builder punch. So just check your stock. I'm sure you have a heart somewhere. Okay. Pieces. I have to remember now that I said that to actually die cut the hearts, because I'm not sure I did that on the ones that I've already cut. Okay. Here's our card base. We're doing real red, 8.5, 5.5, scored to 4 1/4. On the inside, 5 1/4 by 4 basic white, and then we just have a 4 by 3/4 inch strip of this DSP. All right, these are our pieces for die cutting, and then these are some more of our layers. Now, I have Pretty in Pink, and this one is 5 1/4 by 4. That's going to go on the outside. The next layer is basic white, and we're talking about the perennial postage dies, like lots of layers here to get all the colors in here. Next, we have this piece. Now, do you guys recognize this paper? This is from the Wildflower Birthday. So really, did you guys get this paper? I did not use this enough, because this is gorgeous, gorgeous paper and makes really beautiful birthday cards. So, and I think this is on last chance right now. So that's going to be this layer right here. And so for this one, let me see what it is. 4 5/8 by 3 3/8. So that's the layers we're going to build on. Okay. Sugar and spice and everything nice is going to get stamped on here in real red. This is another piece of the Pretty in Pink. We're going to do our dress out of this piece right here. And this Wildflower Birthday DSP is 4 by 3 1/4. And then I have just another little piece which, hold on a second. I have a couple things mixed up here on my thing. So let me just circle a couple things to remind me after this. So another cute little piece of this, and we're going to die cut the bow out of this. So let's set up our die cuts. So we're going to do the bow. We're going to do some candy and candy canes and hearts. That seems like a really extreme piece of red for that. And then this is what we're going to stamp and emboss our gingerbread girl on. Okay, so back to the dies. There's a little bow die, and that's going to go, this is the die right here. And you can see it has 3 different parts. We're going to do that to match her dress. She needs a matching bow, of course. The candy cane again, so do it in red, do it in white like we did before. We have this die right here, which is going to kind of make that kind of like lollipop looking thing. So we need to do one of these in red, because we're going to need this part for the red, and then we're going to die cut this part for the pink. So pink here, red here, plus the candy cane. And I guess it's not too big of a spot because we're going to do the candy cane over there too, right? So yeah, that takes up a lot of real estate there. All right, and I think that's all the die cutting. Oh, we're going to also do a little bit of like the frosting die, and we'll do that in red too. All right, so let's see what we've got here. We have the 2 pieces for the candy cane already die cut. We have the 2 pieces for the lollipop already set. We have, I don't know if I remember to die cut the little red frosting piece. Here's our 2 hearts. Here is our 3-piece bow. And I did not remember to die cut a little red piece out of here. So we might have to do that really quickly. All right, let's get rid of these pieces here. Let me get out my die cutting machine super quickly. Let's just do one of those. Can't believe I forgot a piece. I think I did lots of these in the white, but not so much in the red. So let me just cut this off a little bit, and we'll just run it through. All right. Move this up just a tad so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just putting it in, and I'm going to run it through the mini machine. Excuse me. Super fast and easy. We don't want to leave anything out, right? So let's not. I probably did about 4 of these in white last night. Okay, got it. All right, so this time the face that we're going to use, let me show you, is going to be this one with like the little eyelashes on it. So all we're going to do is just switch it out, just pull this up and put the new one in with the eyelashes. We're going to do it in Versamark and white embossed powder, just like we did the last one. And when we die cut just the one side, this is what we're going to get. Now you can see a little bit sticking off from the card over here. So because it's not going to be a perfect round, so we're just going to take our scissors and make it round. Just like that. All right, so there's our little girl that we're going to build on. Now, the next thing I think we should talk about is the dress. All right, so I took this piece, and what I did basically was I kind of put the dress where I wanted it to go, and I cut it so there's a little bit hanging off on either side, and I want it to come down a little bit. And actually, let me do it this way. So I want it to come down to about here. Am I in frame? Can you see this? So I'm just kind of going to put a mark. We're freehanding this, first of all. Like where the armpits are. And then I'm just going to draw a line that goes all the way to the corner of the dress this way. Oops, I moved that. Not cool, Laura. Okay, so that's like the bottom of the dress. Then I'm marking the shoulders like this, okay? And then all I did was cut it. So I'm gonna try and cut straight here. And try and cut straight here. Like that. We can cut all the way across the shoulders like this. Okay. Now, what I wanted to do was, let me put this back because I want to mark where the shoulders are going to be also. So let me line up the armpits again. And I'm just going to mark right here for a shoulder and right here. We can be a paper seamstress. Okay. So I'm just going to go from here to here. I'll just draw a little line. I just kind of want this to curve in a little bit like this for the dress. And same thing on the other side. Just kind of curve in a little bit like this. All right. Then I'm just going to cut these other pieces out. And I hope I didn't make that too narrow. It looks a little narrow to me when I'm looking at it right now. But I just wanted to show you kind of how I did this. And I might not have measured the shoulders right because I think I went all the way to the neck, which I did. See, okay, you can see how I went to the neck. I should have come here and here when I cut it. Okay. Then the last thing I did was I took a 1-inch punch, high rise, and I just have a nice even neck part to punch out like that. Okay, so you can kind of see how it looks. Now, if you're a little bit obsessive like I am, I did it on a paper too, so you can do it on a piece of paper. And I started by folding it in half. I did the measurement going across, which I think was 4 inches across, right? And let me just measure it real quick. It is 3 1/4 across. So I took my 3 1/4 paper and I folded it in half because I wanted both sides to be equal. All right, then I cut out this part right here, and then I did my circle punch, and then it was nice and even. Then I took this and I traced it on a piece of basic white cardstock that's thick, and now I've got myself a little pattern. So I made myself a little pattern for the future. Now, if you get the kit this week, I'm going to give you one of these thick white cardstock patterns so you can cut out your dress. And after you use the pattern, this is what the dress looks like. All right. And that way you have the pattern so you can make a couple cards or use a different pattern if you would like it. So that's kind of what we're doing here. All right. Let's put the dress on. We went to all the trouble of making it. Let's put it on. And we're playing paper dolls, right? We're going to start getting this little girl dressed up. So there's her dress. Now, let's glue a few things like we need to, like we did before. Let's start with her bow. So again, 3 pieces to the bow. So we're going to do a dot of glue here where the bow tails out. And then we're going to do another dot of glue for right in the middle and put our little knot piece in. And there we have a really cute matching bow. All right, so we have our lollipop we need to glue together. So yeah, it's a little bit fussy with all these little pieces, but I personally love that. The fussier the better. I think it's fun and ends up looking really cute. Another candy cane. This time I did red in the background and white. So if you have a big enough piece of cardstock, you can cut it out twice and end up with 2 different candy canes. A lot of the things in this die set, these are like staples, right? Like, you can use these over and over through the years, not just for this set, but for, you know, whenever you have a card and you're like, I could use a candy cane on this card. You'll have it. Okay, let's do the layers of our heart. You know what? I popped this up with a mini. Give it a little bit of dimension. Great. All right, here's all our pieces here. Let us do our stamping. And like I said, we're gonna do real red. Let me clean off my stamp because I just used it with the green. Doing the same one, sugar and spice and everything nice. Use a sentiment of your choice. And let's pull the real red. Now, we're just gonna cut around this after we stamp it because I didn't want it to take up too much space on our little gingerbread girl. I mean, once I put her together, I was like, well, there is no place for a sentiment on her. So that's what I decided to do. So we're just gonna kind of go around and just cut. Kind of narrow down how much space we're using for this. If you wanted to, you could put it on a label to make it, if you don't like the way this looks, the look of this. Okay, there we go. Okay, let's put everything together. So let's do the inside first. Just put our layers together. Now you could add something cute on the inside aside from this. I mean, we don't want to be here die cutting all night, but if you're making your cute card, you could put more little candy. The die cut that I didn't use, which I think would be adorable in here, is, let me show you, is there's like this little piece right here, which is like a wrapped candy, and you can put this piece in it too, so you'd have a 2-color wrapped candy. You could put one of those like right here on the inside. I think that'd be really cute. I may go back and do that later. Add a little something else. Okay, this piece is going down flat. This piece goes right in the center of our perennial postage. I always hate covering up the side because it's so pretty, but these colors are serving us well for this card. Let's pop this up. Hold on, having trouble. Have y'all started Christmas shopping yet? I've bought one thing so far, and it's just about time for me to start panicking. Well, if I don't get more stuff bought before Thanksgiving, I'm really gonna panic. Okay, now let's pop up her, let's finish her first, and then we'll pop her up. Okay, so let's pop this up and put it where we want it to be before we go any further. I'm not going to get crazy with, I'm going to go all the way to the edge with the dimensionals, and I'll do one in the middle, and hopefully they won't get in the way of where we're going to tuck some things in. So right about here, we'll take this little piece and glue it on the bottom just to add a little extra something. she needs to have a little bit of a fancy dress. And then we'll glue our heart. I thought about making this a necklace, but then I was like, all right, don't get crazy. I don't know, I have a little bit of something right there, so there we go. All right, let's tuck this one in. And our candy cane. All right, is that all the parts? Bow, let's not forget the bow. She is cute. All right, we'll use a lot of dimensionals to pop her up. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. All right. She's going to go right here. Good. Now, of course, you know, we had to add some of those adhesive backed peppermints because, you know, if you're baking, I feel like you need some peppermint, right? Oh, stop saying right. How am I gonna solve that issue? Okay, so let's do a big one. I always like to do a big one with a little one. I feel like these edges, the finishing touch on this project. All right, there she is, our cute little girl, gingerbread girl. Okay, let's go to the next one. Now, the next one, thank you for the hearts. Oh, hold on, I just had it. I dropped. Things are falling. Everything's fine. All right, this one. Now, I've seen this. Now, this, you know, this is from the catalog, this set. So here we are from the mini catalog on page 54. And you can see they did a card like that where they said, oh, snap. This is the Stampin' Up card that they did. So pretty much of the same card. We're just using different colors and all that kind of stuff. But here's a couple other of their samples. I like this one, too, with the pink hats. This is like the designer series paper that's, what do you call it? Just for the regular colors. I like how they put that little dot on the cup too, but I felt it would be kind of lost on ours because there was so much going on over there. And you can see here too how they wrote right in here. They didn't put a white piece in, they just wrote right in here. So this is some of the things that they came up with for their cards from Stampin' Up. So pretty much case from the catalog, just a little bit different. All right, here are our pieces. I need to get a drink of water. Hold on a second. I need a quick drink. Okay. All right, pieces for die cutting, etc. Card base, garden green this time. Can you say it's a masculine card but has gold in it? I don't know. Maybe it's just a gold Christmassy card. So 8.5, 5.5, square to 4 1/4. We have 5 1/4 by 4 that we're going to put in here. We're going to do a little bit of a greeting in here where it's one of their little Pun Seasons eatings. So we're going to stamp that. So I'm going to pull this out since we're going to stamp it. But our other pieces in here, we have 1 inch by 4 of the gold foil and 3/4 by 4 of, hold on, some of us can't measure. Hold, please. Hold on. 3/4, not an inch. 3/4 by 4. Going right in the middle here. All right. So like I said, let's take this out because we need to stamp on that. Okay. Layers for the front. we are doing gold foil sheet 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then we have another piece of that beautiful Christmas greetings cards and envelopes 5 1/4 by 4. So we're going to end up with kind of a skinny border and a skinny border. Okay. All right. So this is going to be for the inside. Now we're doing another gingerbread guy. This time I did with the face. Let me show you. With the mouth like that. So the mouth is kind of open. And then let me show you this other die because it's really fun. This is like the break die that they put in there. So this, you can just use the die cut. I don't know, whatever you want to cut off, arms, legs, your choice. So we're going to just stamp and emboss that like we did before. All right. And then use that die that I just showed you and cut off the gingerbread guy's little leg. And then let me get the scissors and round out this arm right here. Okay, so there's our 2-piece gingerbread boy. All right, so we're going to do the hat and the scarf in the garden green like we did before with the red. So there's the garden green hat and scarf. With the white, you die cut your little bubble, your word bubble out. Also the top of the hat and one of these little icing pieces. Okay, so that's what gets cut out of your basic white piece. All right, so we've got all those pieces. We're gonna stamp on these 2 things. So Season's Eatings, we're gonna do in pecan pie. Pardon my reach. We'll put that kind of right about here. All right. And then, oh snap, on our little bubble right here, we'll do in garden green. That was a cute idea from Stampin' Up, right? I think it was a really cute idea. Wow, that new green pad's a little juicy. Okay, do we have everything? All right, let's start on the inside. We'll do our gold foil first. And our piece of DSP from the card pack. Put that in. Whoa. I elbowed something right onto the floor. Okay. There's our inside. Let's layer up our outside. I love layers that are super easy just to put on. Sorry about that. Now I'm hitting everything tonight. Let me get this right. Since it's kind of a skinny border, I don't have much wiggle room here. So next week, I'm not going to be here because I've got my little Colorado work trip that I'm going on. But the week after, I will be back. And we'll do more Christmas, which I'm excited about. Need way more cards, that's for sure. All right, so this guy's going to go about right here. I'm going to put him on an angle, and his foot's going to go right about here. Now, we want to do a little bit of stamping those cookie crumbs that we talked about. So I've got some pecan pie. This is the cute little cookie crumb stamp. So I want to place these right about here. Right on the DSP. All right, now I want to pop Cookie Man up. You know, before we pop him up, let's finish getting him dressed. So I did the same thing with the pom-pom. You know, on our last project, we're going to do that little gingerbread treat box. And it was tough trying to get these little Debbie Gingerbread Men. It's still just a tad bit early in the season for it. But I got them. My grocery store doesn't have them yet. Or it says they're out of stock, which is weird because, like, I put glue up too high on that. I'm going to wipe some off. It'd be weird they were out of stock already, so I feel like they just didn't get them in yet. I don't want glue up there. I'm going to put this on a little bit of an angle. Scarf. I went shopping after work last week on Friday, and you know, the stores that I'm going to all the time are full on Christmas. So we're talking Michael's and Hobby Lobby and all those. So Home Goods, all that. They all had all the Christmas stuff out. But the other stores, I feel like, aren't quite there yet. Okay. Dimensionals. I don't know, is anybody going to Long Beach for the Stampin' Up on stage in March? I know they opened the hotel blocks already, so if you're going, now's a good time to get your hotel booked. I booked mine this week. I booked my airfare. I think November, is it the, I can't remember what day it is. It's towards the end. It's right before Thanksgiving when they actually have registration. So that's all that's needed. So anyway, if anybody's going, I would love to say hello to you there. Put that right there. Okay, let's do some embellishing. Let's do a little frosting on the hat, and then we're going to put on some gems. I used 2 different gems on this one. I'm going to curve this around just a little bit. It's got just a little bit of give to it. Oh, I'm making a big gluey mess. Don't look. Yeah, Lisa, another class. Yes. Oh, thanks, Renee. Yes, I was talking about, I'm offering my first mystery box. I haven't done it before, and I'm doing it with the Modern Christmas Suite. So we're going to be black and gold and white. So yeah, catch the beginning, Lisa. And it's also going to be in my email tomorrow talking about this mystery box. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't tell you anything else because it's a mystery. Just kidding. All right, so I thought the buns, so I have 2 different embellishments here. So this one is the iridescent foil gems, and I thought that would look cute on here because it's kind of matchy, right? But then after I finished, I was like, oh, this little guy needs some buttons, and I didn't put any buttons on. And I wanted to use gold again, so I'm using these flower accents, and I think kind of the detail on these kind of said button to me, so that's what I'm using. Now, if anybody wants to get the Make and Takes this week, it's easy to get these. All you have to do is spend $50 or more by placing an order with me of $50 or more, and that is before discounts and tax. And I will send it to you for free. So you'll get a free card making kit if you do that. If you don't want to place an order with me, you can get it for $22. You just have to email me, and then I will invoice you through Square for $22, and then I'll send you a kit. So I think it's what I do is just how you've seen it in the envelopes. That's what you get, how I send it. You need the bundle to be able to die cut and stamp your images. Any die cuts that are we use that aren't part of the bundle, I will die cut for you. and I give you the embellishment to complete the card, the ribbon, whatever is needed, the cardstock, so you can complete your card. Okay, there we go. Oh, snap. There we go. Card number 3. That's our last card. We're going to do a little treat box next. All right, thanks. Okay, so we needed a little box to store our little gingerbread, and I tasted one of these yesterday. They're pretty good. I love the taste of gingerbread. It's delicious. So we're just going to make this cute little treat box. Our guy's pretty big, so we had to cut him up a little bit, but that works. Okay, pieces for the next one. Oh, hold on, I apologize. I knocked out my little thing that's holding everything together. All right. So this is how the kits come. They come in envelopes, just like I've been showing you. I organize them so you have, you know, the inside, the outside, things that are die cut all in a specific order. Okay, let's start with the gingerbread guy. We're going to do the same thing we've done in the past. This time I used the little wink for the gingerbread guy. So he's winking at us. And let's cut off, round off his other hand. So this is our little gingerbread guy for this one. Okay, box measurements. So we're going to start with a piece of garden green. Now this piece of garden green is 8 3/4 by 4 3/4. So on the 4 3/4 side, this side right here, 4 3/4, you're just going to score it at 3/4 of an inch down here. All right. Now on the 8 3/4 side, you are going to score it at 3/4, 4, 4 3/4, and 8. And that's going to leave a 3/4 over here. Okay. Super easy box. Let's fold everything and then we can start making our box. So go ahead and fold everything that we've just scored. What did I just say? Yeah, fold everything we scored. I said the right thing. Okay. And you can see how our box is going to fit together like this, and we're going to have flaps on the top and the bottom. We need to do a little cutting for our flaps on the bottom. So on one of these two sides, we don't need a piece at all. So we're going to cut this little corner off completely, this little square. That's history. We're going to cut up on the bottom on the other ones. So on these smaller ones that we're cutting, so you're going to have 2 small and 2 big, we're going to cut the corners just to make it a little easier, a little neater. All right, so let's do the same thing on this one. And these are going to be our little flaps that go in. Okay, so there we go. You can see how it looks. It's pretty basic, right? So we've got our 4 inches, 3/4 on 3 sides, and our 3/4 flaps at the bottom. All right, so let's start by adding some glue right here. I still didn't quite get my glue perfect tonight, did I? And we're going to fold this over. And it should fold, if we've cut it right, just like that. All right. So we'll let this sit for a second. All right, you can see now we have our box put together. Now, this is the seam right here with the cut side. So this is, we know this is going to be the back of our card. So I'm going to have the back facing me. And I'm going to start by putting in my 2 little flaps and add a little adhesive. And I'm going to fold in the back side first. Now this is the tricky part because you want to get it straight so your box sits straight. So I'm just going to hold on to that for a second. And I'm going to use my bone folder to just kind of press those little flaps down. All right. Then we'll just add glue to this other top flap. Not top, but you know, top of the bottom flap. There we go. And we'll just let that sit for a minute to make sure that the glue is setting. And that's it. Easy box, right? That's all we're doing. Super, super easy. Okay, now we want to decorate. So we have some layers. So I'm starting with a real red layer, and this is 3 by 3 3/4. That's going to go on here. Now, do you guys recognize this? This is from last week's, the Christmas tags and more. And last week after we did our cards with this paper, it went on not available. So, and let me just show you so I can remind you which paper this is. So this is the one we used last week, and it had all the really fun little pretty designs on it. So this will be coming back. I'm not sure if I saw when it's coming back yet, but anyway, so I used some of this like little holly berry piece of that. If you get the kit, I'll include this piece in there so you'll have a piece of it to use. And so this Christmas Tags and More is 3 5/8 by 2 7/8. And again, we're going with kind of a skinny border here. And this is what we're going to build on right here for the front of our box. Okay, just like that. So this little piece right here is 1/2 inch by 4 inches, and we're gonna just stamp Baking Spirits Bright in real red, and it's barely gonna fit. Pull this down a little. All right. Okay, more die cutting. So hat and a scarf, again, out of real red. Little puffy part for the hat that we're gonna die cut out of this piece of white, and then another little frosting string out of the white. So that's what you're die cutting out of these two pieces. So hat, scarf, frosting, and pom-pom for the top of the hat. All right. Okay, so let's dress up this guy first. Our little winky gingerbread. Let's see, how are we doing on time? I think we're doing okay. Does anybody watch Only Murders in the Building? Because tonight is like the season finale. So it's the last episode. I think there's 10 episodes. And so that's one that we watch. I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but I definitely watch that. Okay, let's put our hat. I'm going to put the glue on the Gingerbread Man so I don't go over. Get our frosting on. I love Steve Martin. He's coming to San Antonio in, is it January? I was looking at prices today, and all the tickets left are like, I don't know, $375 each or something. And I was like, I love him, but I can't. I cannot. Hold on, I'm messing this up. I cannot spend that much money because there's 2 of us. I could go without my husband, right? Go by myself. Still too much. Still too much. But I do love him. All right, so we kind of want this guy sticking off of here. We want to have enough room for Baking Spirits Bright, so let's go ahead and put that on first. So I'm just going to use a little bit of seal. And I'm going to go all the way to the top corner right up here and go down a bit, just like that. All right, let's snip that off, and that'll kind of give us how much room we have left to put our gingerbread person on. Okay, so we want him right about here, I would say. So what I'm going to do is flip this over and make a little pencil mark because I'm very messy with my glue. Okay. And I want glue everywhere. All right, so let's try putting him on, and I think I'll actually flip him over and try and line up. Well, that wasn't even close to where I put my marks, and I think that'll be good. All right, we'll let this sit for a second. Then we're gonna cut off what we don't need here. Kind of a waste of half a gingerbread person, but that's okay. I think it looks cute. All right, easy part left. Let's put it on to our front of the box. You know what I did? I popped this up. Let's pop it up because it's better popped up. And that glue is not going to be in the way at all. No one's going to know it's there. Sometimes it's trickier to line stuff up with dimensionals. See if I can get it kind of sort of straight. All right, let's add a couple of our favorite peppermints. Oh, that's a full one. Where's my half full one? Okay, let's put a treat in there. So we're going to use some ribbon. This is that real red shiny ribbon that we have for Christmas this year, which is so pretty. Look at the sparkle on that ribbon. And let's find ourselves. So these are the Little Debbie Christmas Gingerbread Soft Cookies. So I'm just going to make sure I have enough ribbon for this. I want a nice big bow at the top. And just to hold things in place, I'm going to add just a tiny bit of seal to the front and the back, just like a little dot, not much, just to kind of hold everything in place. And I just want to be able to pull it out of the box. So let's just tie our bow now. Just a little bit tighter. And kind of work that ribbon so I can get the shiny side on the bow loop. It is a terrible bow, but we can fix it. Look at it, don't worry. I just want it to be a little bit tighter there. Let's reposition. All right, are we kind of sort of happy with this bow? I think so. All right, that's it. Let's just pop this in here. And I probably wanted it to be just a little bit longer. Try again. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, that is our last project. So there we go. Just a little something to fancy up your gingerbread cookie when you give it to your friends or grandkids or whoever you feel needs a nice gingerbread treat. All right, let's bring back what we did. We've got the gingerbread guy, maybe his girlfriend, the poor gingerbread who had an accident, and then our little treat holders. So those are our projects for tonight. Again, if you would like to get the make and takes this week, just place an order of $50 or more with me on my Stampin' Up website, and I will send them to you for free in the mail. So you can order them through Saturday. I cut them and package them on Sunday, and my husband takes them to the post office first thing Monday morning. So that's when they go out. If you would like the measurements for these projects, this will be in tomorrow morning's email if you're on my email list. If you're not on my email list, but you would still like them, just email me. I'm happy to send them to you so you have them. Don't forget, just a couple little reminders. The Advent calendar, I believe, is still available. So that's a fun little treat for yourself or someone you want to give a nice gift to. Any of your crafting friends. Wrapped in cheer, this is the paper pumpkin for this month, which is the little packaging, right? Perfect for gift cards or small treats. So that sounds like fun. So that's Paper Pumpkin if you want to subscribe to that. And don't forget, there's only a few days left for the starter sale if you need to get some free and discounted supplies. All right, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you, Lisa. You could have his like... That's funny. You guys are funny. Oh, to the Rockettes, Lisa. That sounds amazing. Okay. All right, you guys. Enjoy. Have a good week. I will see you in 2 weeks. All right. Bye, everybody.